Papa. You don't want that, Papa. It's got tapioca. I gotta unplug that. Oh, I forgot. Been in there all night. Where's the other one in? What's up, Papa? I changed that water. You can go ahead and drink it, all right? Okay. There we go. Oh, I forgot. We gotta put the other one in there too. And we gotta put, what's that? Oh, man, I'm slacking. Okay. All right. And this one's good, all right? Okay. Full charge. All right, cool. Full charge, and okay. Like the white one's downstairs, Papa. All right. So we're gonna get this one out and this one out. Good. Seriously. All right, here's the other one. No, you can't tell me to play with this. All right. No playing with that. Stop being hard-headed, bro. Okay. I gotta put this on my back and my all of these. You know, no music today. No. I didn't pick the battery up this one. Yeah. Okay. Brand new. No, it's not. No. No. Why you want to go and mess with my thing, man? Don't mess with my wires, man. Come on now. This one is a charge. All right, it's good. 150, 180. Want me to zap you? No, we'll never do that. Right. Got this one. All right, so everybody. Do not, it's not a plaything. All right? Trust me. All right? It's not a plaything, Papa. All right? Go back outside. All right? So am I. Just reading. Too long. I wasn't supposed to talk, actually, but oh well. I gotta stop doing the music so I can get some more ads in. Some people have a hard time dealing with reality. Oh well. Where's the other one? The white one. I had that one down. And that's the other charger, right? Wait. Okay, all right. I don't use that one. Nah. I don't use that one. That's too strong. That mug will jump your heart. That mug right there, how you convulsing and stuff. Yeah. That one, how you convulsing. Where's that? Excuse me, Bob. Come on, man. All right. Okay. We don't use that one. Where's the blue one at? That's the one I need. All right. Let's get the wires for this one. And what's up, Bubba? You want to play so bad, don't you? Put the ones that I need in here, because I won't use these ones right here. Alright, another one downstairs. Alright. Get Zap Judah. Boxing on this moment. Zap Judah. Where you at, Zap Judah? What's going on, Zap? See, Brooklyn Finest, huh? Alright, cuz. Hi, homie. That's what's up. I got a whole bunch of them right there. One is that one. That one right there. That one's too strong, bro. That one is too strong, cuz. I don't want to use that one. That one's too strong, cuz. All right, now let's Anyway, so we'll hook this one up. Whole thing, chargeable batteries right there. Yeah. So. Hook 4 of these bad boys up. Come on, G. This is the new one. Use all 4 at one time. Hopefully I don't be laid up in here. Paralysis. I'm only gonna use 4. I ain't gonna use all 8 of these. Things have me laid out. I'll be dead and doing now. So real quick. I'll get this in before I eat. Last meal. First and last meal for the day. And that's it. 3 days. Well, I'm gonna be. Oh, it's gonna suck. Think positive. Think positive, Ray. Think positive. Try to be positive for everybody. Robs you of your energy, bro. Robs you of your energy, man. You gotta do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on. I use regular batteries. Yeah, you can't, I know you be laughing, you be looking at me, all the energy draws you, right? Looking at me like I'm crazy when I'm doing this stuff. Gotta do something. The hospitals ain't about healing and taking care of people, they're about killing people. Especially the VA hospital, that's definitely about killing people. Nothing but narcissists, sociopaths up in there now. Even especially hospitals about killing people. They ain't about helping nobody. Experimenting. Foreign damn doctors. You won't change all that though. They better run up out of here. That's what they better do. All them suicidal motherfuckers better get up out of here too. It ain't gonna be nice. We're gonna make them an adoration. We're gonna string their guts up through the streets. Dress cars up with them. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make them wish they never knew anything about America. Especially those traitors that's on their soil. All of them. All of them. Yeah, I know. Now we get some music. That's something for my soul. Got my hats over here, guys. I always put them in this little hat thing over here. All right, let's get this reading on. Yeah, I was looking at my sea moss. I think I'm gonna eat one. Just one. I'm supposed to eat. I'm actually waiting on some more to come in. 2 gummies a day. I don't do that because it's got tapioca. What is it called? The tapioca. Anyway, it's the Irish sea moss from the Caribbean, and I like this one. It's organic. Tapioca syrup, you know what I mean? And so I eat one a day. I got like 3 in here, 2 more left in here, and I got another bottle, but I'm waiting on my next bottle. It's a different flavor, raspberry, because I don't want it with the tapioca yogurt. Tapioca syrup, the tapioca syrup. I'm looking at how they make it, and I'm like, sea moss still 148, 40 something minerals or whatever. But I only take 1. Especially when I'm fasting. It's like, what for? Why would I take a whole bunch of it? Oh, no. Let's go ahead and get this reading one. I know y'all saw that post where Biden looked like Sun Tzu. You knocked my rifle down, bro. What I tell you about messing with my rifle, bro? 2A every day. We are the militia. Give damn what anybody thinking. California school system, every one of them teachers should be taken out and dealt with. I don't advocate violence, but the reality, you want to make all our children gays and this, that, and other for the perversions of pedophiles and homosexuality? Nah, man. Nah, man, that's a problem. That's a problem. Y'all see the title, Iron Republic. It's the blue star, the blue flag with the white star, which I've showed y'all that I usually wear with my Confederate flag. But we are the Confederacy. And you know the small hat crew, they had to flip it up on his head. We're not tolerating no more of that. It's all done. We don't care if they make another Hollywood movie or not. And anybody going out there and watching them, you part of the problem. I was looking at a friend of mine was over there at the Chinese amphitheater, whatever that theater thing is over there, where they're redoing the stars. Whatever, the walk of with the names of the goofies on there, right? And he was showing all them individuals standing over there. I was like, for what? He was like, exactly. Map on two sides, House of Wax and all that other nonsense, all that foolishness. You need to take all that crap and they could throw it out in the ocean. Anyway, Iron Republic, edited by CJ Austin. Let me see how everybody. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hey, Snoo, where's the lone wolf, baby Jar? I'm gonna read a lot, but I'm gonna read enough because we need to make another quarter because I didn't come back on and read it yesterday. Lamons was cracking. Scott, hey, what's going on, beloved? And this is a really good book. And everybody that's watching along, they really enjoying it. So I appreciate that. Okay, I really, really appreciate it that y'all taking the time to listen and pay attention. I enjoy reading this one. I cannot wait to get into the other ones because I'm gonna read that. Right after I finish this one, I'm going into those. So that way we can lament something else because a lot of y'all still running around with some weird stuff. You know, you're not making good moves. You're being very pragmatic in your own distillation, which shouldn't happen. I remember when tilapia came out and everybody knew not to eat it. Everybody's eating it, like. And then I look at how they're moving. I'm like, no wonder. So let's go ahead and get into it. For those who haven't heard up to this point, go back and watch the videos. I appreciate it. If you're a new subscriber, we had one new subscriber. Appreciate you joining the tribe. I have a Patreon. I put a post up so people could join it. But in order for me to get up lives and all that, I got to get a certain number on Patreon. And that way I can go beyond the 15 seconds and was it 20 something megabytes or something like that? I forget, but I'm putting posts and stuff like that. I got a couple more videos I got to upload over there, and I need some more people to come and join me. And over there, I can talk about and do any and everything. And I appreciate you guys. And I have a website. I haven't put it up. I'm going to do what's called dump sell. I forget what it's called, but anyway, I have this site where I can go and there's certain things like, I like little miniature cameras and stuff like that, where I can sell those, you know what I'm saying? So, but the way things are looking, I'm debating because I should have put the website up on here, and I've got like 30 different things to actually put out there cheap, you know what I'm saying? Not cheap, but you can use it. It's good stuff. But I just want to relay that. So come over to Patreon. I'll be loading some more stuff up on there. But like I said, you got to have a certain number before you can really roll through. I'm not into politics, but I was really thinking about talking about a lot of things that are coming out about the 2A community. And not for fright, because, with us, the stuff really don't apply if you know who you are. But if you're going to play the game, and they need people of ignorance. You see that they're doing their best to weaponize the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Y'all know when I read William Cooper's The Pale Horse, why is y'all not paying attention? Come on, man. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into reading this. Iron Republic, edited by CJ Austin. And you know who's the by because that's the actual person who's doing the talking. So let's get into it. The freight cars, of which I saw many standing in the government storehouse, or exchange were simply iron cylinders of about the same size as the passenger cars. Now, who remembers the old railroad underground systems of Chicago, New York, Jersey? They were all round. They were cylindrical. Cylindrical. I went down to New York and in Jersey underground, and we went to the old. I'm telling you, we saw 1942 Ford T-buckets, and we're talking about buildings under the ground. We're talking about anywhere from 25 to 100 feet under the ground, storefronts, all dusted, boulders and rocks and all like built. You can see it was built over under the ground. People at once lived down there, and they went down and cleaned them out. So we had to crawl through this little claustrophobic hole, and then we dropped down about like 3 or 4 feet, just like coming out the hole, and then we were standing in there, and it's kind of half lit. And we're looking at storefronts, like old, ancient red clay brick, and Pennsylvania too. And I made my business. The guys that were doing it, I would just go with them. Hey, man, I want to go and see this. You know what I mean? And the train tunnels were round. You still see the tracks, even though they were hacked up with all the dirt, whatever cave in or however they filled it in. I'm telling y'all, it's up under you. If you're in those cities, these were built for. Look, anyway, it said, this is what they say. They said the passenger trains were run in the daytime and the freight trains at night. This description applies to all the railroads in the Republic, except some roads which were built for carrying coal, ores, and etc. These run underground. These roads are run entirely different from American railways. Trains never stopping at stations to put off or take on passengers. After it leaves the starting point, a car never stops till it reaches its destination, where it is switched down from the main line and rests on a track underneath it, and on a level with the floor of the station. Now, for instance, the train we took at Corinthians never slackened speed slack speed a particle from the time it got underway until it ran down on its siding at Ironia. Now, some even 100 miles distance. All right. No car ever stops on the main line, and by a very ingenious. God, what is wrong with this guy? And by a very ingenious arrangement. No, excuse me, people. And y'all know yesterday the reading has been pretty good, but he needs a comma there and he needs a period there. Anyway, ingenious arrangement. Cars on the main line can never get within less than 10 miles of each other. And the motive power is electricity. And when they get closer together than 10 miles, the current is cut off from the rear train so that it loses speed. Now, as I have said, a full technical description of this railway system, furnished to me by the government engineer. There's no two, I just added it. I had to look at I'm serious. I'll show it to y'all, all right? Furnished, it says furnished me by. It's furnished, see that? Furnished me by. It's supposed to be furnished to me by. Okay, I'm not lying, people. I've gone back and marked a few places. It's not throwing it's not throwing the individual under the bus or anything. Or it's just, you have to do this sometimes. Okay. Anyway, furnished by me by the government. Furnished to me by the government. Engineer. And for it goes without saying that it is owned and managed entirely by the government. In a few moments after the bustling porter ushered us into our compartment, we started off with a gentle motion which increased until within less than 2 minutes. We were flying across the country with a velocity I had never conceived of before. And there was no noise, no jar, and the motion being more like that of a flying ice boat or smooth toboggan slide than anything else. Now, the president and Professor Morris endeavored to draw me into conversation, but a faintness and dizziness came over me so prostrating that I seemed on the verge of collapse. Now, I struggled against it and brought to bear all the force of will I possessed, but the fearful speed completely unnerved me. The cars being elevated above the ground and the windows but little below the level of the eye, we could only see the landscape at some distance, and as it flew by, I felt as if I were imprisoned in a great cannonball being fired through space. Now, cold perspiration broke out on me, very descriptive, and try as I might, it was impossible for me to conceal my distress. It was not fear, for I knew from the construction of the cars and road that an accident was reasonably impossible, and I was assured by my companions that a fatal accident had never occurred on the road. It was only the smooth, noiseless, terrible speed that affected me, and within an hour it wore off and I was myself again, and began to take a lively interest in the country. Now, through which we were passing, excuse me, should have had more, I'm going to say it, let me just go back and correct it. Lively interest in the country through which we were passing. There, period. There we go. As we sped on through great tracts of country covered with farms, towns, and villages, over great rivers, across hills and valleys, it made a flying panorama beautiful beyond description. And frequently, thank you, we intersected other roads like ours with flying cars, crossing either above or below them. That sounds like some Jetson stuff, right? It was not long before, or long after, I had recovered sufficiently to become interested in the outside world. And before I observed what, strangely enough, I had not noticed before, that was people flying about the country with the greatest ease and grace. I had not noticed any suggestion of aerial navigation at Corinthus, but Professor Morris told me that if I had been in the suburbs, I would have seen hundreds of people out every fine afternoon flying for pleasure. I was not surprised to see air navigated, for I had long been of the opinion that it was only a matter of time when the feat would be accomplished in America. I was surprised, though, at the simplicity of the flying machines. I had been accustomed to think of a practical flying machine as something very complicated and large, a kind of balloon, a car and steamboat. Now, from the time and era we've seen the pictures, we know that balloons filled the skies by the thousands, and there were things that flew. Anyway, steamboat combined. But there were people flying about with the greatest ease with nothing but a sail drawn over a frame like a great bird's wing, underneath which they swung like a spider under its web. Parasailing, or gliders. A propelling wheel of the same materials was driven sometimes by light machinery, but most often by the muscles of the flyers. It all seemed so easily and gracefully done, and I could not help wondering that people were not flying the world over. How is it, I asked my companions, that people here seem to do so easily what we have labored vainly so many years in my country to accomplish? His country. Are you stronger, or is the atmosphere more dense? Neither one nor the other, answered Professor Morris. You people have always gone in at it the wrong way, or had up to the time I left the country. You have been swallowed up with the idea of machinery. You have seen birds carry their own weight and twice as much besides with ease. You have seen clumsy squirrels expand their skins by stretching out their legs and make astonishing flights through the air. And yet, though knowing that man is one of the strongest animals in the world to his size, it has not yet occurred to you to apply that strength intelligently. In the effort to fly, that's why it'd be great to be on our land working with people like myself who like to invent. Anyway, I'll be gone before that, I think. Occurred to you, apply the strength intelligently. Really, your attempts at flying have been quite as ridiculous as it would be to attempt to swim by machinery. With a light aeroplane having the requisite area of surface and a simple gear with which he could apply the strength of his back, arms, and legs to a propelling fan, you boys with the opportunity would learn to fly quite as easily as they learn to swim. All you require to enable young America to acquire expertness in the air as he does in the water and on ice is the simple aeroplane and a high wire 200 or 300 feet in length from which he could suspend himself while learning to manipulate his flyer. A moment's reflection convinced me that the professor was right, and during the entire trip, nothing interested me so much as to watch the graceful flyers, of whom were nearly always, there were many some in view. Excuse me. I inquired if there were not a very great many casualties resulting. Oh man, Red, get together. I inquired if there were not a very great many casualties resulting from such hazardous exercises, and was informed that there were none at all. That if anything should happen to the aeronaut in midair, The airplane would let him down to earth as gently as a parachute and without danger. Seeing how absorbed I was with the outside view and appreciating my curiosity, my companions were very considerably left me to myself for the most part of the journey, while they discussed matters of interest to the country at large. Now we arrived at the capital at 6 o'clock, making the 700 miles in 4 hours and 25 minutes. 700 miles. Woo! 4 hours and 20 minutes. Wow. When we reached our destination, I'm a person who likes to travel from one coast to the other coast. And let me tell you, 4 hours, 700 miles. What? Do the math. Anyway, the doors were opened for the first time since we started, and descending, we found ourselves in a large vaulted room surrounded by all the bustle incident to a great and prosperous city. Professor Morris called a carriage and parting from President Wilkes, in parentheses estates, who were cordially inviting me to call on him at the executive department inn, we took our seats and were driven or propelled rather through wide tree-bordered trees to the professor's home in the suburbs. Being but a dull practical clud, and languages fails me to describe the feelings and impressions of that hour. The streets were brilliantly lighted and were filled with gaily dressed people, some walking, some riding in carriages or on bicycles, some standing in knots about the corners or sitting on rustic iron seats under the trees along the curb. I miss those. And notwithstanding the great concourse, there was no noise except the laughter and conversations of the people. As in Corinthus, sounds like Corinthians, right? Corinthus, there was not a horse to be seen. All the conveyances being self-propelling, the light and glamour, the beautiful costumes, and the noiseless, swiftly moving carriages all seemed like a dream of fairyland. Now, in the delightful home of my countryman and patron, there was not so much to remind me that I was in a strange country. The decorations and furnishings were not so different from that of the best houses in America, except that besides real works of art, there seemed to be a strict adherence to the rule that everything that was there was for us, for use. And there was no piling up of heterogeneous or conglomerate masses of trumpery, such as is to be found in many so-called fashionable houses of American under the general term of bric-a-brac. And the general style of furnishing was something between American luxuriousness and Japanese simplicity and utility. Now, the room into which I was ushered seemed to be a parlor, library, and general receiving room, all in one, and was warmed by electricity. But that cheerful glow which the sight of a ruddy fire imparts was obtained by having I gotta correct another word. Having an open grate piled with unconsumable faggots. That means cigarettes, I guess, that blazed white and red when the current was turned on. A handsome instrument reaching almost to the ceiling, and which I afterwards found to be a combination pipe organ and grand piano, stood in one corner, and by it a music rack piled with what appeared to be a great variety of music. There weren't cigarettes, but it says unconsumable faggots. Look like cigarettes that just blaze white and red. After conducting me into this room and requesting me to make myself at home, my host stepped to the mantel, over which was a transmitter, something like what I had seen in the office of the director of navigation at Corinthus, and pulled out a stop, whereupon in tones sweet and rich, but soft and low, the most beautiful orchestral music seemed to float in and fill the room. He then excused himself and withdrew, saying that he would rejoin me directly. I was so charmed with the music that sounded like the far-off strains of some grand orchestra, and I made no note of time and was only recalled to my surroundings when Professor Morris advanced into the room leading a handsome woman of middle age who he introduced to me as his wife. Extending her hand, she greeted me most cordially, and in parentheses, while the professor shut off the music and welcoming me to her country and particularly to her home. I acknowledged her courtesy in the best language I was able to command and expressed my sincere and heartfelt gratitude for the warm welcome I had received from everyone I had met, especially from herself, and generous husband. Now, my hostess was dressed in a house gown, a kind of wrapper, and was certainly a very preposing woman. With a most engaging smile, she assured me that in meeting a countryman of her husband's, she felt that she was meeting a near relative, and with a directness and simplicity that completely captivated me. She expressed the hope that I would reciprocate that feeling, and she also insisted now, and in this she was joined by her husband, that I should make their house my home all the time and any time that I was in the capital. I grew up with that. Anybody that came, mama would be like, if you ask me to get anything out that refrigerator, off that pantry, and you don't know how to turn on the stove, if you don't know how to kick your shoes off when you come in that front door and come in the house like everybody else, you don't know where the bathroom's at, boy, you need to leave. It was like that. I grew up. As I had but little time to talk with my host before, the conversation naturally turned to the world we had left, and especially to our native country. I briefly outlined the course of events from the time he left the United States down to the present. In all this as may be possessed, or supposed, he was deeply interested, and his charming wife appeared to be not less so. The Civil War was in progress when he left America, and it was with great satisfaction he learned that the Union had been preserved and loyal friendship again established, and we know a different story to that, between the states. He informed me that he was a young officer in the Navy when the war broke out, but being of Southern birth, he could not take up arms against his native state, and at the same time, he was too loyal to array himself against the federal government. As a way out, if he resigned, and being quite wealthy, he purchased and manned a vessel, and having long cherished a desire for polar exploration, resolved to spend a period during which the war was being waged in a voyage to the Antarctic regions. And we'll read that. Like myself, he had found the passage through the ice barriers and sailed down to the coast of the Iron Republic. As he was familiar with the history of the world, and particularly that of the United States down to 1861, when he left it, and as the wonderful country in which I found myself was new to me as if it had been located on Jupiter or Mars, there was of course far more for me to learn than to tell. But as I knew how great his interest must be in the world he had left more than 30 years before and had never heard from since, I forbade asking any questions concerning his adopted country until I had imparted to him as thorough a knowledge as possible of what had taken place in the old world since he left it. As I warmed up in this endeavor, inspired by the eager interest of both my host and his wife, who listened with rapt intention, I was interrupted by the rustling of a portiere behind, and turning, I saw a vision of loveliness that drove the whole subject from my mind, and so confused me that as I rose to be introduced, I hesitated and stammered like a schoolboy. There, framed by the arched doorway, with one hand raised to push aside the portiere, was a picture to rattle the most stolid and indifferent son of Adam. You see how naturally I fell back into the American vernacular? Tall, fair, with a wealth of golden brown hair coiled like a turban on the crown of a magnificently poised head, I beheld standing before me the most splendid woman that I had ever gazed upon. Large brown eyes beaming with intelligence, milk white forehead broad and low, a firm mouth exquisitely chiseled with full ruby lips and a well-rounded chin, strong but relieved by a most charming dimple, perfect teeth, and snow white. They were snow white, as I observed when she smiled, a most gracious welcome. Such was Helen Morris, the daughter of the house, as she appeared to me the first time. Now, Helen Morris, let me share this with you individuals. Okay. Mr. Robert Morris, that's the book all right there, and he well-informed information, to which we'll get into in the latter part of this. And Hellamores, this is Terra Infinita, extraterrestrial worlds and their civilizations. The story told by the woman who was born in the lands behind the ice wall. She came to America. And then we'll get into the land of Mars for the very ending, which is 178 worlds under the Great Dome. And they're all under domes, situated under domes themselves. Okay, and yep, and we'll stop right there, and then we've got another 2 quarters to go. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Excuse me, because I just know that was the first time I saw a lot of the book is excellent. I saw a lot of no punctuations and some misspelled words, and then no, like to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get into what they are, but you know what I'm talking about. And so we'll come at this tomorrow, and it starts getting really good too. And to me, it's already good. Like I was saying, I've been to the certain places in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Philly, whatever you want to call it. And I was moving with these Pelican brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, who love going underground. Actually, there's a video of this guy who went about 500 feet underground in Pennsylvania. I'll see if I can go find that video and I'll share it so that way as a post, so that way you guys can have a look at the individual, and you'll see what was under the ground. Now, as far as the pictures I saw, I've seen some pictures. Where they are, I don't know. When my first Facebook account, well, actually when I had MySpace, I had pictures. When the phones started to have pictures, by the end of MySpace, I think MySpace is still utilized. But when Facebook first came up, I used to post some of those pictures of, the underground, like the buildings that are underground. Somebody was just recently in North New Jersey, and they were looking at some of the construction being done. And sure enough, you can see 2 levels under the ground. But when you look around, you see everything is level, but you see the little arches, and they make you think that's the basement. But then when they're digging and working on this building, 6 levels under the ground. But nobody wants to believe in a mud flood. And I told you it was a grand weapon that did it. So I'm grateful for y'all taking the time to listen. We're going to come back in about, I'm going to make something. I'm going to make my nata, some mackerel, some spinach, and some maize. And that's going to be my only meal, and a yam, not a sweet potato, a yam. And that's going to be my only meal. And then tomorrow, y'all can donate for these books. And I might share a post or two, but I will be turning the phone, unplugging the TV, the tablet, I'll let it run out. 3 days. I gotta reset my blood. Okay? I've talked about it, and trust me, you should really learn from this. Okay? And my apologies again for the reading. 5.5 hours, 5 hours of sleep. I mean, I was sleeping pretty good, y'all, for a while there. So I've been having a lot more dreams. So anyway, not to go on to that. I appreciate you guys taking the time. We'll shout out everybody again. Make sure anybody come in, haven't shouted out, salute and all that good stuff. All right, got you guys, beloved. Yes, no, I'm still waiting for that to upload because I want to read all the comments. So on the last one, I love the greetings, man. Y'all don't know what that does for me. It's like when my Charisma, my service sister, my little 4 legs, when she used to come and she used to greet me, it was more so than anything else. Like when the children come and grab your leg and you pick them up and they smiling. It's like a real sincere warmth of appreciation and love. It's contagious. So I hope that, I hope I'm doing all right and not swearing and stuff. I hope that you guys are all right with that. I mean, because I know sometimes changes like that can be abrupt, but we need that. Navigator's daughter, 30 years construction, my dad's stories, including, yes. APGR, hey, a lot of Masonic rituals performed down there too, yes. A lot of sacrifices, a lot of death, a lot of everything, but we're not going to worry about that. So if you're new here, appreciate the subscription. Always hit that like, share this. We have some guys, the information is in there, who do some marvelous, some ladies and gentlemen who have YouTube channels. Original Lone Wolf, he has some very good stuff. I don't know why people aren't subscribing to his channel. I don't know what's wrong with you people. You need to come up out that. We need to support one another and stop supporting everything else. We need to support one another. Listen to me. I don't care if you're Latino, whatever you want to call yourself, man. If you're over here and you're riding with me, I don't care if you want to think you're a Jew, Ashkenazi, whatever it is. You want about having a righteous heart and a righteous spirit about yourself. Check out everybody in my description. Support each other. Snoo got one. She shares every once in a while with her and the children, and some of the things she's doing, walking outside, this, that, and the other. Subscribe to her. We have people who are selling things. Keep the money with. We got a clothing line. Nobody even bought no clothing line for my boy. Well, what's wrong with y'all? I bet y'all still going out buying Levi's and Wranglers and everything else, ain't you? Because y'all don't know how to shop at thrift stores. You put your stuff off of there. Learn something and stop being so stubborn. And again, thanks for those who donated. And for those of you who have been donating a little $5 or $2, $3, $4, I'm not cursing, but that's straight to you. All right, I support everybody. All right, and their endeavors. I want some of y'all to get out and come on over this way. I'll hold you down until you get yourself together, best I can. I'm really about that life. I really live that way. I walk that way. I'm tired of you lazy Negroes. And I'm not your Negro. So don't be mine. Be better than that, all right? Love you all. Yeah, I got to make this meal. It's going to be the only one. Definitely not eating nothing after 4 or 5 o'clock. And it's going to be a rough one. Because every time I fasted before, I made grave mistakes. So I have my salt salads, which I'm using. If I have to, I'll drink it in water with a little bit of sea salt, potassium, in case I get a cramp or something. As far as alkalinity, don't have to. As long as I'm getting sun and I'm not being strenuous, I'm not pushing myself. I'll be doing a lot of headstands. I got my pillows ready. I'll be wearing nothing but. I love my kung fu. I love my real Chinese. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, I'll be walking around this house with windows open for sun, grounding in the AM with shorts on, but I'll be walking around bucketed naked. Y'all you gotta do this, y'all. They're not gonna stop. All right? They're not gonna stop. All right? So it's up to us. Okay? Hey, Snoo, did you look at the shoes? I gave you Etsy, right? Not Etsy, Temu. Temu. That's where I got the shoes. They're Chinese made, but they're excellent. They're excellent. They're light. Even the rubber is not as thick as most of the rubber shoes that we have here that cut out electric. Well, I told you what I do. I put copper in them and on the bottom. So that way, you know what I'm saying? I can ground. You know what I mean? When I'm wearing them. But anyway, love you all. My beloved sisters and my brothers. Until later. A couple hours. All right.